Hey, I'm Izzy, and today I'm gonna be showing you how I make these transitions and effects for your TikTok edits. None of these use plugins, so you don't have to worry about that. So for the first transition, you're gonna need 2 clips. Mine already have Twixtor, and you want them to be with similar movement. And you want to move them so the second clip is above the first clip and it's overlapping a little bit, like this. Now on your second clip, we're gonna keyframe the opacity. So press T to open opacity, and then on the start of your second clip, on the first frame, you're gonna click the stopwatch here and you're gonna set the opacity to 0. And then when the first clip ends, right here on the last frame, you're gonna set the opacity to 100. And then you're just gonna easy ease, and you can add a mid graph, going on speed graph, and just copying my graph. So now we're gonna add the movement. You're gonna go to the start of your first clip, and you're gonna hold Shift, Control, Alt, Y to create a null layer. Then you're gonna select both of your clips, and you're gonna connect them to the null layer by dragging this to the null. And then here on the middle, when you can see both of the clips, you're gonna change the scale and position of your second clip so it matches a little bit with the one below. As you can see the borders here, so we're gonna go on the Effects tab and we're gonna search for Motion Tile. And we're gonna add that to our second clip. Then just copy these settings. We're gonna now add the movement. So let's go to the start of our node layer and we're gonna set a keyframe for scale and one for position. Then we're gonna go to the last frame of our node layer and we're gonna make the scale bigger and we're gonna move the position so our second clip is on the center. Now you wanna open your keyframes by pressing U. We're gonna go to the middle right here, select the keyframes, easy ease them, and we're gonna do a mid graph. And now it should be ready. If you want, you can adjust the clips, just mess around to see what you prefer. For this next transition, you're gonna need 2 clips. Mine already have Twixtor, and you're gonna start by searching Motion Tile on the Effects tab, and you're gonna add that to your first clip, and just copy these settings. Then, around the middle of your clip, you're gonna press S, and you're gonna set a scale keyframe, and then you're gonna go to the end of your clip, and you're gonna set the scale to around 60. Then you're gonna select the keyframes, easy ease, and copy my graph, making sure it's on value graph. Then you're gonna go right to where your first keyframe is, and you're gonna hold Control Alt Y to create an adjustment layer, and you're gonna crop it so it's the size of your scale keyframes. Then to this adjustment layer, you're gonna add the warp effect. And you're gonna set warp style to fisheye, and you're gonna keyframe bend on the first frame of the adjustment layer to 0, and then you're gonna go to the last frame of your adjustment layer and you're gonna set it to -100. Then you're gonna press U to see your keyframes, select them, easy ease them, and copy my graph. Now let's do the second half. You're gonna go to your second clip, and on the last frame you're gonna keyframe scale to 100, and on the first frame you're gonna scale it to around 160. Then you're gonna select the keyframes, easy ease, and copy my graph.
What the dog doing?
Then right where your second clip starts, you're gonna create another adjustment layer and you're gonna crop it so it's the size of your second clip. Then you're gonna search for the effect Optics Compensation right here, and you're gonna add that to your second adjustment layer. Then right here on the settings, you're gonna click this option for reverse lens distortion, and you're gonna go to the last frame of your adjustment layer and you're gonna keyframe this first one at 0. Then on the first frame of your adjustment layer, you're gonna keyframe it to around 120. Then you're gonna open your keyframes again, select them and copy my graph once again.
What the dog
It should look something like this. You can make the transition a bit slower or a bit faster, depending on how you like it. You're gonna need 2 clips again. Mine already have Twixtor. You're just first gonna go on the Effects tab and you're gonna search for Motion Tile. And you're gonna add that to your clips, copying these settings. We're gonna go to the middle of your first clip and I'm gonna press S for scale. And you're gonna click this button right here. Then you're gonna keyframe scale at 100, and then you're gonna go to the end of your clip and you're gonna change one of these numbers right here. I'm gonna change the first one and I'm gonna make it around 170. Then you're gonna select these keyframes, easy ease them, and copy my graph, making sure it's on value graph. Then you're gonna go to your second clip, to the middle, and you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna press S, click this button right here, keyframe scale, and go to the start of your clip this time, and you want to change the same value that you did, but you're gonna make it negative. Then you're gonna select your keyframes, easy ease, and copy my graph once again.
What the dog doing?
And also, you don't have to follow these exact values. You can make the scale higher or lower depending on what you want. And also, if you want a vertical transition, you can change the second value instead of the first one. This next effect is the skew shake, so you're gonna need only 1 clip. You're gonna go to the Effects tab and you're gonna search for Transform, and you're gonna add that to your clip.
What the dog doing?
Then you're gonna go to the end of your clip and you're gonna keyframe skew and skew axis both at 0. Then you're gonna go to the start of your clip and you're gonna make skew around 40 to 60 and skew axis to around 150 to 200. Then you're gonna select these keyframes, easy ease them, and we're gonna change the graph. This is how it should look like. You can adjust it to your liking and maybe make it a bit faster or slower depending on how long your clip is.
What the dog doing?
You're gonna have 1 clip, mine already has Twixtor, and you're gonna duplicate it and you're gonna click scale and click this button right here and set the first value to -100. So it's inverted like this. Then you're gonna go on opacity and you're gonna keyframe opacity at 100 on the first frame, and then you're gonna go more towards the end of your clip and you're gonna set it to 0. Then you're gonna select the keyframes, easy ease them, and copy my graph. You can also go on the Effects tab and search for Saturation and set it to -100 so it's black and white.